Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We're learning Mishna Yevamos, Perek Aleph, chapter 11. We started Mishnah Vav yesterday, but I think let's just start from the beginning again so that we get the case clear. A woman who, after she was either widowed or divorced, did not wait to remarry 3 months. She's supposed to wait for 3 months to remarry because then we'll see if she's pregnant or not, which means then we'll be able to know whether she is pregnant from the first husband or not. But she didn't wait, and she became pregnant, and Violda, and she gave birth. And Yadua im ben Tisha l'Rishon im ben Shiva l'Achrein. And we don't know if the child is a 9-month-old child from the first husband or a 7-month-old child from the second husband. Did she carry? Meaning, it could be that it's 9 months later, but it's possible that it's the child with the second husband that she didn't carry full term. So therefore, the Mishnah says like this, right? This is the situation. Now she also has sons from the first husband and from the second husband. So this woman, she was married 2 times. She was married from the previous husband. She had a son or sons. She's now remarried, and she has had further sons from the second marriage that are no question they're from the second marriage. And then she has this one son in the middle, who basically is the son that we don't know who is his father. Is it the first husband or the second husband? So that's the scenario. So the Mishnah said like this: in a case where he dies, this child who was a doubt, we don't know who again. We don't know exactly who his father is. We know everybody shares the same mother in this case. The question is who, and the question is this doubtful child, whose son is he, and therefore which are his brothers. So in the case where this child grows up, gets married, dies without children, now the question is which brother from his mother is going to be able to do Yibum. You can only do Yibum if it's a brother from your father, not just a brother from your mother. But the question is, in this case, who are his brothers from his father? So what do you do? So therefore the Mishnah says, these brothers are going to have to do Chalitza, but not Yibum on the wife of this doubtful child. Because for sure one of them has Yibum, right? For sure one of them it was his brother from his father, and therefore for one of them there's for sure a connection to Yibum, but we don't know which. So if you do Yibum, it could be that you're actually doing Yibum on your brother from just your mother, which that you can't do. That's a Torah prohibition. That's an erva. So but at the same time, we know that there's a Yibum connection to one of them, to one of the brothers, and therefore we say Choltzim v'lo miyabin. They both do Chalitza to make sure that if there was any Yibum to them, the Yibum is done, but there's no possibility of Yibum because of the fact that without knowing who is his brother from his father, it would land up in this case that he could be marrying his brother just from his mother, which is an erva. V'chein hu lahem. Same thing, he to them, meaning, let's say they die without children, and he's a surviving brother. He's a surviving brother here. And the question is, he's a surviving brother. So, or we don't know we don't know which brother who he is a brother of. And we're talking about that the wife of either one of the brothers of both the brothers passed away. And now there's a question of Yibum. Does he have Yibum to them or not? Is it his brother from his father's wife or only his brother from his mother's wife? And therefore we say, V'chein hu lahem, so to he to them, Chayletz v'lo miyabim, he does Chalitza, but he doesn't do Yibum. Same thing over, just in a different direction. All right. This is what we did yesterday. Now we're up to the new part. So here we go. A little bit of a different case. Literally translated, the words read, he had brothers from the first and brothers from the second, but not from the same mother. Now, if it's not from the same mother, then one of them are not his brother. Because in this case, basically what we have is, you've got, we're calling them first husband and second husband, right? Regarding one of them, meaning each one of these men had another wife. And from that wife, they had sons or a son. Let's keep it in this. For our case, we need to say each one had a son from that wife. Now, husband one married this woman. He died. She went and married husband two within 3 months of the death of her first husband. And she's pregnant. So we don't know whose child she is. Is she the child of the first husband or the child of the second husband? Now, but in this case, it comes out that none of these boys have the same mother. None of these sons have the same mother. It's different mothers. Because some of them are born from husband's one other wife. Some of them are born from husband two's other wife. And the whole question about the doubtful child now is coming from the woman, a third woman, unrelated, a third woman, who now goes ahead and was married to husband one. He died. She married husband two within 3 months. She has a child. And we don't know who's the father. But we don't know who's the father has no bearing on the brothers. In certain ways, doesn't have a bearing on the brothers because maybe put it this way, depending on who the father is, the other brothers are completely unrelated. It's a different father. It's a different mother. There's no relationship whatsoever. So the factor of the possibility of this of someone marrying the wife of his brother from his mother in this case doesn't exist. Because they're not brothers from anything. They're not brothers from the mother, not brothers from the father. It's just this doubtful one. We don't know who are his brothers. So here's the case. So the literal translation is he had brothers from the first and brothers from the second. It doesn't mean that. It's not that he has brothers from both. It's just using this terminology to say he's got possible brothers from either one. Okay? Not from the same mother. If they're not from the same mother, they can't both be brothers. But it's just a way of looking at it, saying it as maybe it's can get similar to the wording before. But the point is that it's a possibility of brothers. All right. Now, in the case where they die without children. They die without children. So what do we say here? Hu chalitz umiyabim. He can do chalitza and then yibum. So again, let's look at the case. In this case, you've got this doubtful child, right? We don't know who his father is. Now, whoever was his father, then the boys from that father from his previous marriage are his brothers from his father. He has a mitzvah yibum. But if he is the son of, but therefore, if whichever one he is the son of, right? The other ones, right? From the other husband who had sons from a previous marriage, there's no relationship to them whatsoever. No relationship whatsoever. So what happens is like this. The problem is, all right, so now you've got this doubtful child, and we don't know who are his brothers, right? Are these his brothers, or are these his brothers? Now, in case you land up, right? In case you are, right? And each one had a wife, right? Each one had a wife. Now, if you are not the brother of if you're not the brother of one of those men who died, then his wife, okay. Let's look at this and let me read this to you inside. Okay. I'm confused here. I'm sorry. I'm confused here as to why he has to do chalitza. Unless I'm reading it wrong. You know why I'm confused? Because I'm interpreting it wrong. When it says here, I missed this bad, sorry. Again, they were brothers from the first husband, or possible from the second husband, not from the same mother. He can either do chalitza or do yibam. He has a choice of what he wants to do. Okay? Since they're all permitted to him, he has a choice. So let me explain. If he is their husband, meaning, if you got these two women out, their husbands died, no children. By both of these women, we don't know, is this surviving son, right? Is this surviving son? What is he? Is he their brother? Is he their brother-in-law? Or their nothing? They could be his nothing. So therefore, which each one of them, you can do what you want. You can do a chalitza, you can do a yibam, because at the end of the day, you look at each one, you say, look, either she's my sister-in-law, right? Or she's nothing. So either way, if you want to go and do yibam and marry, you can go ahead. There's nothing stopping you. You want to do a chalitza because you're not interested in yibam? Do a chalitza. But you got to do something, but you have to do something to both of them. Because both of them, there's a question that they may be your sister-in-law. So you got to do something to both of them, but at the end of the day, you're going to perform either chalitza or yibam with any of the widows, since they are permitted to him. So let's read this. If he is their husband's brother, then he's performing yibam. If he is not the brother of their husband, and there are no other, then they don't have to yibam at all, and they are thus free to marry anyone. Either way, he may marry them. They all require at least chalitza, right? So at the end of the day, got it straight now. Sorry. Okay. The point is here, regarding these two women, do what you want. Each woman has a question that maybe they are your sister-in-law. So you got to do something. But it's your choice. You want to do chalitza to both, do chalitza. You want to do yibam to both, do yibam. You want to do one yibam, one chalitza, you can do what you want. Because either way, each one of them is permitted to you. She is either your sister-in-law or she's the wife of somebody who's not related to you whatsoever. Okay, so that works. Now, the haim, what about them? Meaning, let's say the doubtful son dies. Right? So now when the doubtful son dies, his wife is left. Either one of the brothers, right? Either one of the brothers now has a question, is this my sister-in-law or not? Mm-hmm. All right? So what we say is like this. Echad chaylitz v'echad miyabim. One does chalitza, one does yibam. That means like this. You can't just go ahead and do a yibam here. Because if it's not your sister-in-law, wait a minute. Since we do not know who is truly the dead man's brother, his widow has a possible yibam bond to each of them. Right. There's a possible yibam for each one of them, right? Maybe each one after the doubtful brother dies, right? Each one looks and says, maybe it's my brother, maybe it's not. Now, if it's not, it's somebody else's brother. And if it's somebody else's brother, then it comes out that there's a yibam bond to somebody else, to the other brother, and not me. So I can't just do yibam because maybe she's a woman that has a connection to yibam to a different man, not to me because she's not my sister-in-law. So therefore, either one of those brothers has that problem. Because again, but when it comes to this case, the doubtful son is either a brother or a stranger. But if he's a stranger to you, then he's a brother to him. And if he's a brother to him, then you can't marry her because she has even connection to that other brother. So therefore, we say like this: Echad chaylitz. One of them does chalitza. If one of them does chalitza, then okay. That means from his part, if there was a yibam connection, done. Mm-hmm. It's done. Now the other brother, the one who can go do yibam, because either way, she's my sister-in-law, and if she's not my sister-in-law, then she already got chalitza from the other brother, and therefore she can marry. Mm-hmm. So therefore, that's what it means in this case. Echad chaylitz v'echad miyabim. One does chalitza, one does yibam. Now, even in this case, for this to be possible, actually, in the case before, when the question was, what is he going to do? What he can do, right? The wives of the other brothers died. He's a survivor, right? He's the one surviving. He's the doubtful one. We say, do what you want, because either way, they're okay to you. Mm-hmm. That's only if the scenario is that there's only three men here in question, or three brothers in question. Meaning, husband one had one son, for sure.
Yeah.
Husband two had one son, for sure. They both have a doubtful son. Okay? That's where we say, okay, doubtful son, you're good to go. It's either your brother's wife or it's nobody.
Yeah.
But if, let's say, one of the other husbands had another son, which means there you have a situation where there is another son.
Yeah.
That means there's for sure a Yibam connection to the other brother, because there is another brother here, and the doubtful son is a doubtful son. In that case, he can't go ahead and just do Yibam, because if he's not the brother of the man who passed away, there's another brother who she's connected to Yibam for, and therefore he can't marry her. So therefore, in the first case, where those brothers died and the doubtful son is only one left, again, when there's not from the same mother, the case of the Mishna is talking about where there's basically only these three men involved in the whole situation. Okay. Apologize for the confusion on my part. All right. Now, the Chofetz Chaim just said that in a situation where you saw somebody else do Lashon Hara, say Lashon Hara about someone, and the person who Lashon Hara was spoken about does not yet know about it, don't tell other people about it. Because then he's going to find out about someone speaking Lashon Hara about him, that would katzit rechilas. Right? If somebody tells someone, Reuben tells Shimon what Levi did to him, or spoke Lashon Hara about him, that's called rechilas. Now, I'm going to do that. Now, sometimes it's permissible to tell this matter to others, even before the person who was spoken about found out about it. If you know that the person who was spoken about will for sure get an absolute benefit from being told to by you telling it to other people, even before he knows it, you're allowed to do it. All the other conditions mentioned before have to be fulfilled here. So we're going to continue with this one tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem. But the point is that if you know that even though Reuben doesn't know yet what Shimon said about him, and typically we don't want you telling others because then that's when he's going to find out someone spoke Lashon Hara about him. If you know there will be absolute benefit by telling others before he knows, you'll be allowed to do it, as long as all the other conditions are met. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.